In this section of the course, we are going to be cutting our pattern directly on our material. I've already laid out the front pattern of this scrub that we are making. And in this section, all you need is your tape, your scissors, your tailor's chalk, and of course some pins. I've already used my pins to set the pattern in place so that it will not move. All you have to do now is to use your tailor's chalk and draw the pattern on your dress. This material, as you can see, is folded. It's folded because I need 2 pieces of the front pattern. I folded it front to front so that the back of the material is what is facing me. So you can do your drawing. All you have to do is to trace the pattern on the material with your tailor's chalk. You can also use a water-soluble marker if you want. Sometimes I use tailor's chalk, sometimes I use a water-soluble marker. Now the reason I'm tracing my pattern directly is because the pattern is normally the exact size of the person. And when you trace it with your tailor's chalk, it will show you exactly where to sew when you're ready to sew the dress. When you're ready to sew back to front and so on. This shouldn't take long. That's all. I've finished doing that. I've traced my pattern onto my dress. The material I'm using to make this. The next thing is to measure 2 centimeters. Measure about 2 centimeters away from the line that you have drawn on the pattern. Maybe to see this. Now this is the line I've drawn. So what you do, you just measure 2 centimeters and mark all around the pattern. 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters. You could leave the neck because that is not so important. The 2 centimeters for me is for you to give a kind of allowance in case after all the sewing the material is too tight on the person. So you have an allowance, to maybe loosen it or something. But most times I don't always have that problem. But for the sake of safety, it's always good to give 2 cm. 2 cm space. And that's 2 cm space. That is where we are going to do our cutting. And the first one, that is where you do your sewing. When you're sewing it with your sewing machine. So that's essentially the only major thing involved on cutting your pattern on your material. See how simple it is? No cracking of your head, nothing. Like if you're doing this thing manually. No cracking of your head. Very simple. When you're using LUTTERLOH to do a lot of this. Extremely simple. So I'll join all the marks I've made together. That's all. The next thing is for you to mark the position of the darts. All you have to do here, this is our dart. Just give a mark here on your material, give a mark to the second part of the dart, and then open it. Make a dot with a water soluble marker where the dart stops here, and then just draw the two portions to meet that point. Finish, and that is your dart. That is your dart. Remember that we have two darts on this material. So this is the next dart. We are going to do exactly the same thing. Mark here. Mark again. Put your hand where the point is. Do your mark. And then join the two. If you cannot join to a straight line, you can always use a ruler and join the two dart positions. Finish. The next thing is to just cut your pattern, and we are done with this section. I will cut the pattern and keep, and the next section we're going to do the same thing for the back pattern. So I've pinned the back pattern for our hospital scrub. As you can see, my back pattern is pinned on the material, and I'll do exactly what I did with the front pattern. I'm going to trace the pattern on the cloth. Trace it directly on the cloth with my tailor's chalk. This to show you how simple it is to use LUTTERLOH to sew anything you want to sew. There's no stress, there's no problem, there's nothing. Now the reason you're tracing this is because this is exactly the line you're going to use to sew. Because the pattern is exactly the size of the person. When you finish it, it's exactly the size. So this is where you're going to sew. And then you're not going to measure from that line you traced 2 centimeters. It depends on you. You can decide to give it more than 2 centimeters. You can give it 3 centimeters. Depends on you. But I normally give 2. You know, it depends on you. It depends on the material you have. If it is much, normally give 2 centimeters as allowance in case of anything. Most times I don't normally need it. So that's why I always stick to 2. I don't want to waste my material for nothing. So just measure 2 centimeters around, mark it, and this second marking is where we are going to be doing the actual cutting of the material. Two centimeters is less than 1 inch. If you're using inches, if you're using an inches tape, 2 centimeters is about 1 inch or so. Remember, don't bother the neck, just the shoulder, the arm, hole, and the bodies. That's where you add the 2 centimeters. The neck, you leave it like that. we are going to join all the markings we've made together. Now that's exactly what we did. We put it here. Then we are going to mark where the dart starts from on our cloth. You can use your tailor's chalk. You can also decide to use your water-soluble marker. Same thing. I've marked where the dart starts and where it ends, and I'm going to mark the distance between the two darts. That is it. Then we can use a ruler and now draw our darts on the dress. Remember, this is the back of the dress, so it's not the front, the back of the dress. I'm doing all these explanations. If you're somebody that sews, all these ones, you don't even need all this explanation. But if you're somebody that is learning, it's also easy, very easy for you to follow and make yourself. Or you're making it for your sister or brother or cousin. Just make yourself a nice hospital scoop. If you're making it for your relation, to still be a very nice gift. I think we are done. We are done. What we'll do now, we have to turn the other way. That is, after cutting it, turn the other way and also mark the darts. I'll now put it, then I'll turn it and mark the darts the other way.
Continue now.
So I'm cutting from the line of the 2 centimeters. That's where I'm cutting. That's all. Now let's do the darts for the other part of the. Remember, it's always folded. It's folded, and you do the darts so that the darts will be equally spaced. You can either replace it or you just follow. Let's follow from the material. I think that is better. Start here, just mark it there on this other material. Just do a mark there. That's the first mark. And then the distance. You can decide to measure it too, but for me this is faster for me. You can just measure the dart and do it, but for me this is faster and better aligned. So I finished the marking just to join the dots together to get the darts for the second part of the back. In the video of the front, I did not show you that I did the dart for the two places, but that's exactly the method I'm using here is the exact method you use for the front too. To make sure that you do your darts on the two pieces. It's not straight. So we are done for the back part of the pattern. In this section, all our pattern piece has been used to cut the material, and every piece that we need to sew the doctor's scrub is ready. So in this section, I'm going to be showing you step by step how we are going to join all these pieces together, what we have to do on each of the pieces, so that we can get started on sewing our doctor's scrub. So I'm going to start with the back piece. This here is the back piece. The very first thing we'll do is to cut a facing. As you can see here, you get a material, make it measure the length of the curve of the neck. This is the neck. Measure the length of the curve of the neck, starting with the first trace of the pattern. Remember, we had two traces, the main pattern and where the allowance is going to be, the 2 centimeters. So you start from the main pattern tracing up to half of the shoulder. The main pattern tracing up to half of the shoulder. Half of it. That gave me 20 cm. So now get a material and measure, make it to be a little bit more than 20. This here I have 23. 23 by length. And you can make this as long as 10 cm if you want. Depends on how you want your facing to be. Most times I make mine 7 cm, not too much. At most 9 cm. So remember that the back is folded. So you fold your material that you've gotten to, place it under, and place this on top of it. Such that the beginning of this is from the line of the pattern. So it's from the line of the pattern. You see why I made it a little bit longer? Because you're going to be cutting off here to do a facing for the neck. That's what we are doing now. A facing for the neck. Pin it down. And then just cut to get the curve of the neck. Just cut off the extra to get the curve of the neck. Cut off this extra piece. Remove your pins. And then fold it a little back. And then just shape it the way you want it to be. Just do the shaping as you want it to be. So that's all. That's the facing of the neck. It's ready. That's the facing for the neck. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to pin the darts on both sides. So remember our darts. Just pin it together because you're going to sew it. It's very essential to have your sewing pins. Pin it along the line that we used our tailor's chalk to draw. So one side is ready, the other side of the back, do the same thing. That is ready. And the last thing we need to sew with the back pattern is to sew the two pieces together. So you pin the first line. Remember the first drawing, that is exactly the pattern. That is where you're going to sew the two pieces together. So just pin it there. That is all there is to the back. I'm going to go over it once again. I have cut the facing. This is the facing for the back piece, the neck. That is the facing. I have joined the two pieces together from the point that was traced at the exact size of the pattern, because the pattern is the exact size of the person. So that is where you're going to sew. And then our darts, which I have pinned both sides of the back. And that is all there is to the back. So what I'm going to do first, I will sew the sides, sew the darts, sew the facing on top of the back. So that's what I will do with the back pattern. So we'll lay that aside. Back pattern is ready for sewing. And that is all there is to the back pattern. In our next video, we are going to face the front pattern. In this section, I'm going to show you what we are going to do to the front part of our scrub. Remember what we are making. If you look at it, you find out that there's a contrast material used for the piping on the neck. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do that. And that there's a pocket here too, with the contrast. A little piping on the pocket too. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Show you how to do that with the front part of our scrub. Now this is the front part of it. This is how it's going to be. One of it overlapping the other one. It's two pieces. So the first thing now you need to do, you will measure the neck curve. Because my neck curve might not be the same with yours. It will depend on the bust size you used. So all you have to do is to measure it up to the end. For me it is 58 cm. Once you've measured it and you've gotten the length, you now get your contrast material that you're going to use. And you cut exactly that 58 cm or a little bit longer. You can make it a little bit longer if you want. Then cut that by 6 cm. I repeat, you measure the length of the curve of the neck. Please follow the curve very, very well so that when you cut the material it will not be too short. Follow the curve step by step and get the right length. As I said, mine here is 58 cm. If you're using a tape that is in inches, all you have to do is to multiply it by 2.54 to get in centimeters. Multiply 2.54 to get it in centimeters. But if you're using a tape that is in centimeters, then you don't have any problem. You can follow me. So measure your contrast material. Like I take mine 62, just to give it a little length. I made it 62 by 6 cm. Then we are now going to pin it round the neck on the front. Pin it round the neck on the front parts of your material. And your contrast front facing front. So you pin it like this. The front of your contrast facing the front of the material. The front of your contrast facing the front. That's how we're pinning it. So just pin it round the neck. That is where we're going to sew. At the end of the day, you'll be so proud of yourself when you finish sewing your scrub. So that's what it's going to look like when you pin it. Now, when you're sewing, just sew along your pin as it is. Sew along the pin. After sewing, I need to explain it because I will not show a video of the sewing. After you finish sewing here and remove your pins, you just fold the material so fold it back to the back of the dress, and then at the back you fold it in once again, and then do a top stitch on it. I repeat, after sewing it directly so, you fold it over so to the back, and then fold the contrast material in at the back, and then do a top stitch, and you have your piping. So that's what we are going to do for both sides, for both neck curve of the front. Now when you're done with that, we now pin the darts. Remember, to the front has darts. Remember, we marked it. So just pin it together and sew it. But the darts are both sides of the material. So just do your pinning there and sew it. So that is it. You do the same thing for the other side of the material. Pin the darts at the side, both sides, sew it, and then sew the neck piping. When you're done with that, you're done with doing the piping and sewing the darts, we'll now prepare the pockets. The pockets, as you can see from the scrub, there's a pocket with a contrast. And this here is the pockets that are already cut. Depends on you how big you want your pocket to be. But if you want to do it exactly like mine, I cut 21 cm by 23 cm. 21 cm by 23 cm. And what I'm going to use for the contrast, I cut 9 cm by 21. Remember, you're making it 2 pockets, of course. So what we are going to do with this, we're going to place it on the side of the 21 cm. This is folded. This is folded. And you're going to sew the folded end to the 21 cm edge of the pocket. So, and after sewing here, let me pin it down. Anything you don't understand, you can pause the video and just follow me. So it's a very easy thing. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible so that if you're just learning to sew, it's easy. It's not complicated. So once you sew there, all you have to do is to turn it over, so, and do a top stitch on top of it. That's all. Do a top stitch on top of it. And when you're doing top stitch, I always like you increase the length to maybe 4 cm, the length on your machine. The length of the stitches. It always looks better if it is around 4 millimeters length on your machine. You don't use the same machine you're joining cloths to do top stitch. It's always better to use a longer stitch when you're doing a top stitch. It makes it look, better. So you do this for both pockets. And when you're done with that, I'll still pin it. When you're done with sewing and top stitching, the contrast on the pockets, when you're done with that, you now tuck in about 2 centimeters. Just fold 2 centimeters, so on all sides. Fold in 2 centimeters on all sides of the pocket. If there's anything that is confusing, just pause the video and then go back and look at it. Once this is done, your pockets are ready to be put on the front part. So what we need to do now is make your pockets ready, do your piping, sew your darts, and the front piece will be ready. In the next video, all that I've shown to you, I'm going to do the sewing and bring all our pieces together so that we'll see how we can join our pockets to the front piece, how we'll join the front piece to the back piece, and how we'll join the hand to the cloth. And our scrub will almost be ready. See this video. Now in this video I have done my piping. As I told you, I've done the piping for the 2 sides of the front. As you can see, I've done the piping. I have joined my darts, and the front piece is ready. The back piece also, I have joined my darts. I have joined the center, the 2 pieces of the back piece. I have sewn the darts together. I have put my facing, the back. So in this section, I'm going to show you what to do with the facing. Once you've done your facing, you iron it down. Iron it completely down. Make sure that the sewing edge really comes out. Iron it down very well with a hot iron. Then when you're done with ironing it down, You now just fold to hem it. You could decide to hem, you could decide to sew, but for me I will sew. So just do a little folding around the edges. After you've ironed, essentially that's what you're going to do. Fold it around, and it's always good after folding to iron it before you sew it, so that it will be in place when you're sewing it down. Just to give it a very neat appearance. So do it all around the facing of the neck. I was doing it. So after that, the back piece is ready to be joined to the front, which I'll show you what to do before that. This is a very practical class, so just follow me, do as I do. So once you pinned it down, it's advisable, as I said, you iron it down before you do the sewing. So let's lay that aside. Now there's something I did not show you in the pockets. I've sewn the contrast material to the pockets. Now I want to show you how you can easily fold before sewing. There's something I've used here. As you can see, this is what it looks like. It's called a double-sided tape. You can get it from my store. Get to my website. Get to the store, you get it from my store. I don't produce it, but I market it. So once you click on it, it takes you to the actual store in Amazon where you can buy it. But it's very good. All you have to do is, as I said, you remove it. It's like a normal tape, but it's double-sided. Remove it, and then gum it the distance you want to fold. Just gum it the distance you want to fold. This is about 2 cm from the edge. I just gum it. Then press it down with the scissors or whatever object you want to use, because make sure that it's real gummed down. I always like doing this at the edges of my cloth. You know, if I'm folding anything, for me, it keeps it nice and tidy. So that is it. All you have to do now is to try and get the first layer out, the white layer out. You need to have a little nail on you to be able to do that. So see, that is what it looks like. You know, so you just remove it. So you do the same on both sides. So, and this one also. Sometimes it takes a little patience. You need a little patience to be able to remove it. So I've gotten it. You could also decide to just fold it by yourself and just iron. But for me, this always works better for me. That's it. So what you do now, you just fold it. Fold it from the last edge. Fold it so. And it will just come. It will just come together and make it easy for you to sew with your machine. See? And it keeps the material in place for you to be able to sew with your sewing machine. That's just what I love about it. So that's our pocket. That's our pocket for the two sides. What we'll be doing next is, as you can see, the front part. See that one is overlapping one. So what we will do, align the sides together so that you see it. Align the front sides together. Make sure one edge is equal to one edge. Then pin it. And we're going to run a seam down. The reason we are doing this is that we can always do it together with when we are joining the back, but it's always good to do this so that you will not miss when you're sewing it. It's just preparing the front to join it to the back. That is that, and then do the same thing for the other side of the front. The other side of the front. Join the seams together. The two layers of the front together. Try and make sure everything matches the waist to the waist, the bust to the bust. So that's the front. So after you have sewn the two sides together, and then you've sewn your pockets, all the sides down, when you're sewing your pockets, sew a little bit away from the edge. Sew around here, a little bit away from the edge, because we are going to sew the edge to the cloth. So you're going to have two seams on the pocket. I repeat, when you're sewing the folded part of the pocket down, sew a little bit away, maybe 1 cm away, a little bit down. Because when we are joining the pocket to the cloth, we are going to be sewing at the edge when we are joining it to the cloth. And then you are going to place your pockets just about 1 cm from the waist. 1 cm from the waist. This is the waist. So 1 cm from the waist. 1 cm from the waist. And then remember that you have 2 cm that you're going to be sewing the front to the back. So you're going to give another 3 cm. Then you place your pocket there. I repeat. So that is making it 5 cm from the edge. 5 to 6 cm from the edge. 5 to 6 cm from the edge. 1 cm from the waist. That is where we're going to place our pockets. I will do our pockets after we have joined the 2 parts of the front together. So that is our pocket. That is how our pocket is going to lie. The 2 pockets. So everything I'm showing is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to join the sides. I'm going to join the pockets. Once I'm done with joining the pockets, then I will now join the back to the front. I hope you've gotten everything I've said, because I'm going to be doing that so that in our next video our dress will almost be ready. Join the back to the front. In joining the back to the front, the very first thing you do is to join the seams at the shoulder first. First join the seam at the shoulder to shoulder. And the second shoulder to shoulder. As I said, anything that is not clear, just repeat the video and it will be clear. So once you've joined the shoulder to shoulder, all you need to do now is to join the side of the back to the side of the front. Just align it and follow the drawing that you made to join it. Do the same thing on this side of it. As you can see, everything is even aligned all by itself. There's no extra thing or anywhere. That is the beauty of LUTTERLOH. Everything just joins by itself. So you see, you do the sewing here too, following the line that you have drawn. And that is it. I will just go ahead and do all that I told you to do. Then when we are back, our dress will almost be ready. But in my next video, I want to show you also how to join the trousers together, so that by the time I come back, everything will be almost ready and we'll have just the final things to be done. In this video, I want to show you how we are going to be joining the trouser, sewing the trouser. In my previous video, I showed you all the things you need to sew for the top, except joining the hand. So I'm in the process of doing the sewing, but let me now show you how to do the trouser, so that by the time I come in the next video, the trouser and part of the bodies will be ready, and then we'll just do a final to close up this course. This is the trouser. This trouser, as you can see, this is the front of the trouser, one of the piece of the front. This is one of the piece of the back. So I lay the back there with the front of the material facing me, and then the front with the back facing me. That means front part of the material for the front piece, front part of the material for the back piece together. You lay it like that, and then as you can see here, this is the front. See where the crotch, curve of the crotch ends, and this is the back. This is the back. So what you do you will get the crotch of the front, join it to that of the back, so, and then pin it down and sew it down to the end of the trouser. I repeat, get the crotch of the front, join it to the crotch, end of the crotch of the back, and then pin it down to the end and sew it. To the end and sew it. So just pin it down. Trouser is the most easy one to sew because you don't have that, you don't have anything, and we are going to be using rope for the waist, so there's really no much work here. That's why I decided to do the video so that I'll sew everything at once, so that by the time I come with the next video, to just be to do round up and the course is finished. I don't want it to be too long. So that is it. Then you join the sides, the side of the front to the side of the back. So essentially that is it for the trouser. You do the same thing with the second two pieces, the back and the front. So just do that. And once we are done with that, in the next video I'll now show you how to join the two legs together. Or I can even show you at once. No, I think I can show you that later. So let's get this ball rolling. Do all the sewing that I've already shown you to do. Then in our next video we'll just do the final touch up, and our scrub is almost done. See you in the next video. Hi there. I'm so proud of you. We are almost through with our scrub. In this section of the video, I'm going to show you how to join the sleeves to the bodies of your scrub, and I'm also going to show you how to join the two legs of your trouser. Remember in the last video, I showed you what you were supposed to do, what you were supposed to do with the trouser, and what you were supposed to do with the top of the scrub. So without wasting much time, let us go straight and do this. Yes, our dress, the sides have been joined, the pocket has been joined. I did a little design on the pocket. If you want something like that, I think I'll do a short video on how to do this if you want. But that aside, the bodies of the dress is ready. So now let us see how we are going to join the hand. Now, I have done one side of the hand, as you can see. But I'm going to use the second part to show you how I did that. So all you have to do is just run a seam at the edge of the hand, just a seam, fold twice, very tiny fold, twice, so pin it down, pin it down very easily so that it will make your sewing easy for you, and straight. Once you've done that, so use your machine and run your stitch. And try and use long stitches, 3 millimeters. When you're running stitches like this that will show on the dress, make it long stitch of about 3 millimeters. So once you're done with that, now what we have to do is to join the two sides together. Remember that we wrote here V. V simply means this is the side that you join to the front part of the dress. That's why it's very important you note it down, because you find out that the front part of the dress, the curve is not as much as the back. As you can see, the back curve is more deep than the front curve. So you need to know which part is the front. This marking, don't forget to put it when you're cutting your material from your pattern. So what we are going to do, we are going to join the two sides together. We are not just going to join it like that. We are going to measure the circumference of the arm on the dress. So what we are going to do now, get your tape, and then let's measure it very well. Let's measure the whole circumference and see how many centimeters it's going to take for the hand to fill up this circumference. I repeat, before we join the sides of the arm of the hand of the dress together, we have to measure the circumference of the hand on the dress. So right now my circumference is 56 cm all round. It's 56 cm. So we are now going to measure all round the arm too and see how many centimeters that we have. So that is going to be, measure it all round. And I have 63 cm. Now 63 cm minus 56 cm will give me 7 cm. So 63 minus 56 will give us 7 centimeters. So what we are going to do, we are going to remove those 7 centimeters from the two sides of the hand. So we are going to mark 3.5 centimeters here. I've marked it with the pin. And then we are going to mark another 3.5 centimeters here. So with that we have removed the 7 centimeters. So what we are going to do now, we now sew. We will sew at that point of the hand. As you can see, where those two pins are, that's where we are going to sew the hand down. We'll sew down here. So that is all there is to it. After sewing up to here, all you have to do now is to turn the dress wrong side out. Wrong side out. Remember where your V is. This is your V. That is for the front side. Turn the hand that you've already sewn right side out. I repeat, the bodies of the dress wrong side out, the hands right side out. This is it. Right side out. This is what it's going to look like. So now we look for where the V is. This side is the V, which is the front part. This is our V now. This is where our V is. So that means this side is our front side. This side will be for the front part of this dress. So the hand is there. This is the front part. What that means is that if you put it on this side, it will be wrong, because our front part, this is our front part, will be going on the back part. So you have to be very careful when you're joining the hand. So to get this front part, I keep making, okay, this is our V. The bottom part is the front part, okay. So to get this front part to be facing the front part of the dress, that means it has to be this other hand of the dress, this part of it. This is our front part, this area. So if you put it in there, that is what is going to happen. The front part will be to the front part of the dress. So wrong side out of the hand, right side out, and then you tuck it into the dress like so, and we are going to gradually pin it round the armhole, starting from the armpit area. So we pin it round one side, pin the other side, and so as you can see, everything fits well together. So that is it. That's the hand. So all you have to do is to sew along the pin that you have pinned round to the dress. Sew around it, and at the end of the day, your hand will be fixed, comfortably fixed. Your hand will be comfortably fixed to the dress. So that's essentially how to add your hand to this, pin this piece. Okay, that is how your hand will be. Very nicely fitted to the bodies. So that is that for that. I will go ahead and do my sewing and do precisely the same thing with the second hand. Now we go to the trouser. In the trouser, I have joined the front and the back piece, as you can see. This is the front piece and this is the back piece. I have joined them together at the side, as I told you in my previous video, and at the crotch end. I've joined that together, one part of the leg, and the second part of the leg I've done the same thing. So the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you lay them side by side so that you are sure that the front is on top on one side and the front is on top on the second side. This is the second side, the front is facing me and the front part of the trouser is also facing me. So you have to be sure of that before you now turn them right side out. Right side out. The reason you have to do the first thing I told you to do is that so that when you're joining the two legs together, you don't need to be, you'll be sure that the front is being joined to the front and the back side is being joined to the back side. So once you brought out the front side of both legs, as you can see, the front side of both legs, all you have to do is to join the crotch to the crotch, so that the front side is joined to the front side of the second leg and the back side is joined like so to the back side of the other leg. So the front to front, so front to front, and the back to the back. Trouser is about the most easiest to sew, as long as it doesn't have any kind of designs or any kind of styles, you know. And the back to back. So that is it. What we have to do now, we are going to run our stitch all round, to join the two legs of the trouser together. And that is the trouser. And then when we are done with that, we will now come and just fold it. So about let me see, my tape. Oh, where is my tape? Okay, you now come and fold it about 4 centimeters. That is where you're going to put the rope, about 4 centimeters. So hemming, you can hem it or you can sew it with your, you can hem it or you can sew it with your machine. So, and when you're done with that, we'll now hem the bottom of the trouser, that is the end of the trouser, the leg. Just hem it to make it neat, just double folding so, and just hem it. like so, to make it very neat. The trouser will be ready. So in summary, what you're going to do now is to join the hand to the bodies of the scrub. That's what I'm going to do. I'll join the hands to it. When I finish joining the hands, I will hem the bottom, and after that the top of the scrub will be ready, and I'll join the two separate legs of the trousers together, and then I will hem the waist with 4 centimeters to make up for the rope I'm going to put in the trouser. And when I'm done with that, I will now hem the feet double, just fold it double and sew it, and the trouser and the top will be ready. So in my next video, just to show you the ready products and to congratulate you for coming to the end of this course. Well done so far. So I would like you to just go ahead and do all that I've told you to do for the body of the scrub and for the trouser of the scrub. And I would so love it if you just give me a picture of what your scrub looks like when you're done. Because when I'm done, I will do a short video to show you exactly what my scrub looks like, and so you compare it with your own. If there's any place that you had a challenge, you can drop your comments for me, and I will answer you as fast as possible. So thank you and remain blessed till the next video.